Well. Good afternoon, everyone. It's been a hot minute since our last episode. We took a nap last season. We were tired, but I am very, very, very honored to welcome you all back to the weekly drop. Yay! Woo! And what better way to kick off season 15? Combines are starting tonight, 9 Eastern. And I figured we've got some new franchises, we've got some new leadership in the tier. GM episode, inaugural episode. Let's get some GMs on. Kono, on the producer sticks. I'm your host, stuck on the rubber pole. Rubai, Iltem, Tachyon. FRG, HR, the new kid on the block. Sav up. Guys, thanks so much for being on this afternoon.
Of course.
For sure,
Yeah,
brother.
man.
All right, let's go around the room, just because some people don't know our greatness. Rubai, can you start us off?
Hey, I'm Rubaiyacht. I'm the GM of FRG. This is my first season GMing. I've been with FRG for about 3 seasons now, but I've taken the step up, and I'm hoping that we'll have a great season.
Certainly, certainly. Taking over for the Fleepster. Big shoes to fill. Confident that you can do it. Iltem, let's go with you. Maybe you want to start by explaining to everyone how to pronounce your name in full.
Yeah, I saw that coming, and that's why I'm just not going to answer that. So,
I'm already getting disrespected.
everybody, I'm Ilt. I'm the new GM for HR, the High Rollers. Previously, you guys somewhat familiar with me. I was the AGM for OS from season 8 to 14, along with Spence and Ben. So, got the nod this season to take over what was Hell, transformed it into the Gamba franchise, and looking forward to my first GM season.
And the elephant in the room, is there going to be live gambling? Without real money, of course, but live gambling in the High
That's
Roller
something we're looking into.
Okay. All right. Updates to come. Updates to come. All right, Tacky, you and I go way back.
Yup. Hi everyone. Oh, you got something to say?
I'm good.
Anyway, sorry, I thought you said. Great intro for me. My name's Tachyon. All the real ones call me Tacky or Tack, just as Starly did. I'm looking forward. This is my first season doing anything other than just shooting people in the head. So, hopefully a good time and obviously stab up.
We have no choice but to salve up
Exactly.
every season. So let's move into our first topic here. Obviously, combines are starting tonight. We're all GMs, AGMs of some kind, right? I think for people who are maybe new to this league, or just a friendly reminder for everyone else who's been playing so far, let's just talk about this combine period, right? Like, what do we look for when we're scouting players? What do we pay attention to? What do we prefer? Let's start there first. And Rubai, let's go back again to you. What are you looking for during these 3 weeks?
Well, so I think of it as sort of like, I have like three sets of priorities that I'm going for, right? The first priority is obviously like, okay, do I know that this is a person that the people in my team are going to enjoy playing with, right? Just like off rip, regardless of like your stats, your role, whatever. If you're not like, if you're not someone that I would enjoy playing Counter-Strike with, then chances are I probably don't want you on my team. Like just off rip, don't want anybody who's like a toxic piece of shit. Um, just just getting that settled off rip, and then we go to the second set of priorities, which is like, hey, do you communicate well? Are you proactive? Are you do you have a particular role that you fill that might be a good fit for the team, et cetera, et cetera? And then we go to the third tier, which is, okay, do you have like good stats? um, Stuff like rating. The stats conversation is a whole different thing, obviously, but there's a lot of different things that I pay attention to when I'm looking at stats. But I would say in terms of the priority list, that's sort of number three, and those two come before.
Yeah, I mean, I would 100% agree with that, like pretty much all the way down. I think the number one thing you want, like you said, you don't want any freaks on your team who like don't know how to be a normal person is basically the big thing. You could be the greatest shooter that on God's green earth, and if you come into the lobby and you like die 3 times and start freaking out, nobody's gonna want to be on a team with you, and you're never gonna win a game. So I definitely think anyone who's joining the league, first and foremost, focus on just being a good, normal person, firstly, and then a good Counter Strike player after that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the vibes are critical. I think from a stats perspective, we have 6 different tiers right now. So like, what I'm looking for in challenger is not the same thing that I'm looking for in recruit or even contender. As you look through, like, the abilities are different, especially in the early or the earlier tiers. I would say, I won't say lower, just different.
Yeah.
But the abilities and just kind of where you're at in the game in comparison to like where you're at, like, with your vibe is what's important from there on.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Like I think a lot of people have the misconception that this is like pugs, where all that matters is if I'm top of the leaderboard with 25 kills and there's some guy on the bottom with 5 kills. But I'd much rather have the guy on the bottom with 5 kills who's trying and being a good teammate than the guy with 25 kills on the top who just runs around, kills people, never calms, so on
Yeah.
and so forth. Because at some point, you're not going to get 25 kills anymore, and then you're just dead weight. The guy who gets
Yeah.
5 kills and calms is always helpful, always useful.
No, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, if I see somebody that's like intentionally baiting, I mean, off rip, that's just sort of like a non-starter, right? Like, obviously, you know, getting yours is good and all, but the priority number one has got to be playing round-winning Counter-Strike, right? Like, if you're just there to sort of like pug it out, get yours, and call it a day, like, we don't really care about that, right? It's not the sort of thing where I'm going to be like, oh god, I hate that person just because they're baiting, but like, you know, get your priorities straight. You know, just try to win and have fun. Don't worry about, you know, putting on a show for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
I definitely think like one of the responsibilities of like being a GM or even like a GM is like you're there to try to build a winning team, but you're also trying to build like a good community within CSC and within your own organizations. So like
Absolutely,
it's
yeah.
like you said, like even if you're fragging, like if you're just miserable to be around, like nobody's gonna want to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say another thing from the gameplay perspective. When you're in combines, I think personally, this is what I do when I played my first combines and even last season. Try and be adaptable. Don't just play your spot every single combines, because the reality is if you're joining a team that already has like a couple like consistent players on it, they might already be filling those spots. Like for example, if you're a Mirage and you're like, I only play connector, I can't play anywhere else. That's not great because they're probably gonna be a connector player already. So I think in combines, just try and, you know, if you've played Mirage 3 times, play a different spot all those 3 times. You know, try and be adaptable. Try and do different things during combine. Don't just do your one thing you're good at the whole time, because the first time you do it and you're good at it, we already know. If you do it again, it's like, okay, can this guy play any other spot, or does he only know how to play cat?
Yeah, and I think to add on to that, like, we want to see players who are like willing to learn, like willing to adapt, right? You come in with this mindset, especially like, oh, I can only play certain spots or whatever. Like the lack of flexibility is something that jumps out to us, you know, pretty often.
Yeah.
It's not hard to spot, unfortunately. But I think also it's just interesting to think about that, right? Like just when you say like, oh, I can only do this or I can only do that. It's like, well, everyone's here in CSC to learn, to grow. You know, you could do a lot better by having that mindset, because the seasons themselves might not be that long, which is something we might discuss further down the episode. But the time you spend in CSC will be a while. You know, franchises are always looking to draft for at least 2 seasons at minimum. You know, and you guys touched on it already with regards to the community aspect of it. But
I wanted
that's,
to
you know,
throw in a
that was
question.
just something. Uh-oh.
If
Sorry,
I can.
producer.
I'm going to jump in on the mic real quickly. Just on the point of flexibility, because I only just now remembered this. They are adding rotating, like, random map pool now, right? It's no longer voted for?
That's my impression, is that
Yeah,
that's going to stay this season.
And then what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a good choice. I mean, I know from like this is season 8 of enjoying the view of combines for me. So like, you know, especially in tiers where players aren't as confident on some of the more complex maps, like or newer ones that get put in. You know, getting to view the lovely Mirage run it down every single combine for days on end is just like, it's not super helpful.
Yeah.
You don't like the default B rush on pistol?
You know, if I
You guys
had
don't
$1
want
for
that,
every
yeah.
one of them.
It's a contact, not a rush star. They lock in. Come
Yeah,
on.
it's contact.
Oh yeah, it's a
Be
contact.
contact.
Yeah,
I'll
you're
go
not
mid and
Geo.
down
You know
real quick.
this. Yeah, exactly.
Don't play Mirage.
I would, yeah, I do. So just clarify me if I'm wrong. It just randomly selects from what's in the map pool, and then you play that. You don't have any.
Yeah, there's no agency. It's just completely random.
Yeah, I was gonna say I do like that because I do remember last combine. I'm pretty sure every single game I played was Mirage. I played Mirage like 5 times. So I think that's good to force people to play things they aren't comfortable with. Absolutely, and it will also show, this is kind of a like sink or swim moment, but it'll show if you're having a bad game what you do. If I got vertigo on combines, I'm cooked. It's over. So, seeing a player and how they react to that, if you get a map you suck at and you go 5 and 25, seeing what you're doing and how you're calming when you're doing horrible is huge. Because every player can be a great, nice guy when they're winning and they're doing well. When you are, you're vertigo and you're getting shit on, you're 5 and 20, that's when it actually matters how you react. So I think random map pools, sorry for everybody who doesn't like to get rolled, but you getting rolled might actually be good for you. So I think that'll help.
Yeah. That certainly, yeah. I think random map pool is well overdue.
Yeah, I don't know. My POV is a little bit different because I'm sort of the culprit as to why we're doing random map pools now. If you'll remember from last season, we had a massive tech meltdown that led to servers crashing at the end of a map veto, and it was something related to GoTV, which hilariously, actually, the plugin developer fixed that literally like a couple days ago. Like we went a whole season without that part of the plugin
Don't let them know that.
getting fixed. But I mean, it doesn't matter anyways because we're getting random maps, right? So it's sort of a moot point. To be honest, I think it had. Yeah, I agree with you both. I think it had the good externality of like me looking at people in combines and then not just seeing like a line of like 10 straight ancients. Like it's like just play, please play another
Bro,
map. Like
what's wrong with Ancient?
It was always Ancient, Mirage, Anubis were like the three.
Yeah,
And then you'd have Vertigo sprinkled in. Overpass never existed.
Inferno, not
Inferno, nobody played.
I don't think I've ever seen
Good.
Nuke
That's a
Combine
good
once.
thing.
No,
I want to
Inferno's
draft
good.
players.
Inferno's good. I'll die on that hill.
No, dude.
Inferno, it's whatever.
It's okay.
You guys just need to go up banana by yourself more and send your team 4A.
This is also pre-Inferno widening.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's fair. Before the fix, it was kind of,
It was miserable.
You started suffocating the moment you went out T-steps.
Yeah. Oh,
Was
you made
that
it out T-steps? That's impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah, crazy.
I'm quick with it.
Was that also the change before CT Molly's got their area reduced? So like,
yeah.
Okay, all right. I mean, Inferno was terrible in Go, and then it got worse in 2. Like, my franchise will only draft players that are bad at Inferno. Like, if you're actually dropping like a positive stat line on Inferno, you will get on a D&D.
I'm never gonna be on BS. It's over.
No, that's okay,
It's
Jackie.
over.
It's all right. You want to win a trophy, right? So.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, sorry, guys. Weekly drop cancel from now on.
Big slime trophy curse.
You forget who's running the show here, Rubaiyacht.
Actually, I'm acutely aware of who's running the show. That's why I said what I said.
Wow. Whoa. Oh
Damn,
my
bro.
God.
I miss Manifest. Damn.
Yeah, bring Manifest back.
Where is Manifest? Maybe I should get Manifest instead of you next time, Rubai, huh?
Oh,
That's
Is he on-
crazy.
He's on what, AVI now, right?
Yeah, he
Sounds
was
right.
on AVI for a season. I think he was like DRG the season prior, something like that.
Maybe, yeah. He's enjoying his world tour.
I respect it. I was going to ask for you guys personality-wise, and this is really out of left field, but we talked a little bit about being a good mesh, right? Like with the team. How much freak from a GM standpoint would you tolerate on a roster?
Being in OS, we've had some characters come through over the course of the time there that some members are aware of, especially some elite teams in the past couple seasons. Just being like some very interesting like groups put together where they were winning early and then completely like melted down for like a back half of the season. There's definitely like a point where it's like, if they can deal with each other and they're fine with it, then like you kind of just have to let it go. If they don't like each other and you also can't stand it, then you can just step in and make changes that are needed. But it definitely comes a weird point of like, who do you drop? Like, who is the real issue? Because they're all being freaks at that point.
Yeah, I would kind of agree. It's hard to speak because, Sav, honestly, I don't think there's a single person in Sav who's like so much of a freak that I don't like them.
Oh, you did have that cheater that one time.
There's some, that's okay though.
Like that was what, season 11? Not cool, man. Not cool.
I wasn't here yet. I didn't even know what CSC was. But I think in general, like we try and prioritize not freaks. You know, we like we like to be have good vibes in Sav, okay? And I'm sure that at least I can't speak on the lowest tiers because I'm not over there a lot, honestly. So if there's freaks down there, I don't know about them. But in terms of like everybody I know in Sav who was like Chally, Contender, Elite, all good guys, never had an issue like whatsoever. Um, I think the worst thing you can do in terms of being if you're just like you make bad jokes, you know, you make some messed up jokes, that's one thing. If you scream at your teammates, that is not a freak I'm ever tolerating, just straight up. Like I don't care who you are. If Simple was on my team and he started bitching out Jarts, it's over. He's cut. He's done. So I think, you know, if you want to be like a funny, goofy guy and be a little bit of a weirdo, that's okay. But when it's on the line and you're making other people play worse and you're making the franchise worse, that's not going to happen, even if you're the greatest fragger in the world.
That's fair.
I think, Rubai, I think we need to drag Tack down for a day trip into recruit chat.
Look, okay, those people in recruit they're fucking menaces, bro. Like I have, like even in Premier, they don't take the game nearly as seriously as what recruit does, bro. Like
Yeah,
they go hard in recruit down
I've
there.
heard
Like
Recruit
stories
is
about recruit.
recruit is very passionate.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have seen some of just the most absolutely heinous stuff in recruit chat, and that's
Yeah,
I've seen some heinous things in CSC, so that's really saying a lot.
Bro.
Yeah. The
I mean,
the
no,
recruit
sorry, you were gonna
lows
say
are
something?
so. Yeah, I was just gonna say like the recruit lows are so low, but did you see Lance's diss track of this
Dude,
Mars last season? I mean, the highs are high.
Yeah, no, that's true. The AP ain't dead video that
That
released,
was
what was it, like
That shit's
mid-season,
so
season
funny,
13?
dude.
That was gas. Like, shout out Lance, bro. That video was awesome.
Everybody, yeah, it's funny. Like everybody thinks that like recruit chat really started popping off in the last like season or two. I'm like, now recruit chat's been unhinged since like it started. It's the longest time.
But why?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's got a
I gotta
storied
understand.
history.
Why recruit? It doesn't make sense to me that recruit would be the most like. I would think it would be like one of contender, challenger, elite, like the middle tiers. You know, the same way it is on Face It, where it's always like the level 6s and 7s who are the psychos and not the level 9s and 10s.
Yeah, I think that like it gets weird because like Premier doesn't care. I would say like with most people at Premier do not care. CSC's for fun. You know, you go play ESEA if you're trying to take the game super serious or anything like that. And most of the Premier people do end up like playing each other in ESEA, and those games mean a little bit more. Elite, you just don't hear a lot come from like Elite and Chally and even like Contender. Prospect has it every once in a while, but for whatever recruit, it just means more. The
Yeah.
league just means more because it's probably one of the few places where see it like our motto or I guess our slogan for lack of better ways, it's the best place to play competitively casually, right?
Yeah.
And outside of CSC, like there isn't like a spot where recruit like doesn't get like they get to play against people of their own skill level or similar skill levels in an organized fashion that's not paid for. So like you're not going to ECA playing open, getting shit on, not having a good time.
Yeah.
Because let's be ECA opens the Wild West sometimes. Like I've played it after coming off seasons of Maine, and we just go play open for fun and go 11-3.
Yeah. I think something I would say in regards to recruit, I don't want to be like the big brother giving advice, but something I always say in general is if you actually care about the game and getting better and even winning, you don't want to you want to be level-headed. You don't want to be starting drama in chat. It doesn't help you win. It helps you lose. It makes it harder to win because your teammates might not like it, your franchise might not like it, and the other teams definitely don't like it. I would much rather get to beat up on a guy who is talking shit in recruit chat than a nice guy who's never done anything wrong in recruit chat. It's not going to help you play better. It's going to make them play better because they want to beat you.
Yeah, but like Blitzer just said in the chat, bro. What about the cultural impact on the league?
I mean, I
considered
think
that? It's like
I think
community
I
service.
think I think the rivalries are good sometimes, especially like there's definitely been some heated conversations that go on these chats, and like I think a lot of the rivalries that used to exist when CSC was a lot smaller have kind of dissipated quite a bit, especially as franchises rebrand, players move on. Um, so like I'm not against it, like within reason. There's definitely like you got to know if you're just in the wrong or like when to
Yeah, I
like
just
like what to maintain.
Yeah, you just
You
got to
know, like
read the room a little bit.
yeah, like
yeah,
there's
yeah,
definitely
like
like certain franchises that will appreciate it more than others. I know, our time in OS, we loved it. We thought it was hilarious if we got shit talked, we ate it up. There's definitely franchises like, you know, we love to shit talk Nan, but like, Nan doesn't, or in the past, especially shout out Carrie while she was GM, she didn't appreciate it. She didn't enjoy Nan getting shit talked, and it did cause like, it wasn't as fun, to do it in that way. Now with Scott in charge again, maybe we'll bring that back a little bit, but
Like
there's
yeah,
Scott,
definitely like
Scott can
a
yap for a whole franchise, so he's got
yeah,
that covered.
yeah. So like it's definitely like there's a time and a place for it. So like within reason, like I don't think that's an issue per se. Recruit likes to take it a little too far, but you know,
no, I
to
think
each
like
their
if
own.
you're doing the regular amount of shit talking, it's fine. But once you cross that line, it's like, you know, especially as a GM, I'm gonna remember that you said some freaky shit in chat. Okay, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
forget. I'm not
yeah.
gonna forget when you went
We
psycho.
will not remember.
Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just like I feel like yapping is fine, but I feel like there's a very clear delineation between yapping and just saying like completely vicious things to other human beings that are
Yeah.
unwarranted, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
that's the line that I draw. Like if you want to yap in your tier chat, like I don't have any problem with that. I think that's fun. I think it makes CSE more fun. I think once you cross that line into like you said something really messed up to another person, that's when you're like, okay, I don't really want to draft this person, right? Because it's not only a question of like how does this reflect on my franchise? It's also a question of like, am I going to have to worry about this person getting match day bans, right? Because
Yeah.
if I have to involuntarily sit you for like upwards of 3 match days, that's already like, am
It's
I
a pain
sure
in the
I want
ass,
to?
frankly.
Yeah, exactly. Like you got to think about your team at the end of the day, right? Like just do it so that your team nothing gets messed up on your team, right? I don't want to have to pull subs last minute because you
Couldn't
decided
keep
you
your
thought you
mouth
were
shut
hot
for 2
shit. Yeah,
seconds.
exactly.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
pre-match banter always goes hard, and then you look in the tier chat after the match, like around like 11 o'clock Eastern, you're like, uh-oh. What do you mean?
Yeah,
What do you mean? There's been like
it's
600.
always after match. It's never
600 plus
pre-match.
messages in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly, dude. People are
Several
just
people
sore
are
losers,
typing.
man. Yeah, people are just sore losers. Like a
See,
lot of people just get absolutely heated when they get beat up on by a team that they just don't like.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like, I get it. Nobody wants to lose. I definitely would say, like, I whenever I played CSC, I've only probably played 4 or 5 seasons total. I've been a lot of unrostered AGM seasons in the last, especially in like last year or so. Uh, I see in chat, there's some complaints. We have tiers that are super large, right? Was it Challenger has what 20, 22 teams, something like that. It's pretty significant. So I definitely think like there's people in that tier that like just never see each other outside of a tier chat. Like you don't play
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's stop talking about freaks because nobody can match ours, and let's refocus. Let's refocus the discussion. We talked a little bit during the combine period, right? Like vibes first, like personality second, really. Stats third. Obviously, like you said, like we all of us want to win at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What are we looking at stats wise? Because we've got combines. Franchises very often host 10-mans, and if you want to go really deep, you can stalk people's face it profiles because you have to play face it in order to qualify for CSC. Without spoiling the Krabby Patty formula, like how do you value those like against each other?
Yeah. So from a stats perspective, like I said earlier, it's really dependent on your tier, and then even more importantly, it's like, okay, you have this roster that has 3 people returning, right? Looking and seeing like, hey, we have 2 entry fraggers and an opper. Like, do I really need to go hunt down another opper in this tier? You know, they might be this DE might be the number one opera in the tier, and then like in that case, like yeah, maybe I do want to like see if I can snag that, and if my current roster member is like willing to like swap off and do something else. But it becomes a lot of like, especially in the higher skill level tiers, like trying to get like that good fit where like you have like ample support, ample entry that people are like comfortable in roles. When you get to lower tiers, it becomes like, who's showing potential, like who's like really active and like playing quite a lot to like really improve in their game in comparison to like, like oh you had, I had 3 games where like I was terrible. It was like yeah, but that's whatever. Like you've played 46 games this week. Like I'm not super worried about your 3 off games. So that's
Yeah.
definitely like a bigger thing in that way.
Yeah.
I won't give away the Krabby Patty formula though. We do have some stats that are particular, especially some of the in-depth stuff that's available within CSC combines and some external websites there that you can run Faceit through.
Well, I'm gonna
Like
learn
checking
about
skill
those,
per
I
round or
guess.
Shout out analytical.com.
Shout out
analytical.com.
analytical.com.
Yeah, I would pretty much agree with that. Like, I think I would value, like, if we wanted to put a ranking on it, I would probably value 10 man's first because it's going to be the most, like, structured probably. And Combine second, Faceit last. Just because Faceit is pure pugging. It's like if you're playing Faceit by yourself, especially, you're just playing to maximize what you can do. Whereas I think in Combines, especially if you're taking our advice and you're playing different spots and you're trying to be a team player, that would be there. And then 10 mans, if I'm seeing the game and it's like people I know who know how to play the game, that would probably be up there. If it's 10 mans and it's a bunch of people I don't know, then that's a different story altogether. But yeah, I think it's kind of hard to just base how good a player will be, especially on a CSC, like a more structured team, just on how they pug. So, like we said, I would value combines highest if I see you're trying different stuff and you're trying different roles and you're, not just running around trying to get as many kills as you can, because you can do that in any form of Counter-Strike that exists. It doesn't really indicate a skill or how well you will be in a structured game. So, yeah.
If you have an average death position of above 4, bad
True.
looks.
Okay, yeah, true. There are like a couple of red
Bad
flags
looks.
in there that it's just like, yeah, if your ADP is bad, then I
How
don't know.
hard?
My oh, sorry. So,
I
you
was
gonna
just
say
gonna
something?
propose. I've never seen an ADP above like 3.5, even on like serial baiters. Have you
That's
ever
why
seen
you
it
Uh,
above
need
4?
4.
I mean, four was not the actual number, but
Okay, but
I've seen some like 3.8s before that were
Yeah,
like,
there
holy
there
shit,
are some
like, that's impressive.
outrageous numbers. Like obviously over pretty low sample sizes, but like still some outrageous numbers out there.
I've seen a 4-1. It exists.
no.
No,
How many
Yeah.
games?
The One Piece. The One
That's
Piece is
The
real.
One Piece is real.
It's real.
I don't know. My perspective on it is I sort of like, I think stats have 2 purposes, right? The first purpose is stats are a good way to like help me start looking in places, right? Like stats are never going to be the end all be all. I'm never going to pick up a player because of stats, but as I'm going through Analytical or if I'm going through the CSC website and I see a player that has stats that pique my interest, then I can start. Okay, let's look at this person's demos. Blah 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 blah. I would say I don't. Personally, I don't really put any stock in like Faceit and Pug stuff, just because I think that like some people just will like queue with like teammates who are way lower Faceit level than them. Like some people just bait, some people just W key and shoot people, which unbelievably people in Faceit don't know how to deal with that for whatever reason.
Yep.
And you can probably get like 7 to 8 wins in a CSC season off of just hitting the W key, but you're probably not going to win finals off of it, right? And then the other purpose is just like you're not going to be able to scout every player in a tier, right? Especially for like tiers like prospect and contender, right? So you're going to have to use stats a little bit to like help you fill the gaps in the information that you have. So, when it gets down to the nitty gritty of like, draft time and it's like, holy shit, every player that was on my draft board is now off. I have no clue who I'm going to draft. That's where you start going into the stat book and you're like, okay, this player had a pit rating of blah, 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 and whatnot. So I'm just going to send it and draft this guy.
So
right?
your whole draft board got took in the first 2 rounds.
yeah,
Good
exactly.
fucking
It's
luck.
like, oh yeah, cool. All right, awesome. So I think stats do help us in picking people. It's just maybe not necessarily for the right reasons. So
We had a method in past seasons if we were like if it was like round like 5, 6, and like especially in like the tiers that are large, it's like, all right, everybody gets a chance. We're picking funny names.
Yeah.
oh
Speaking
shit, yo, Lemmy's in the 5th round. Let's go.
Hell yeah, dude! Fucking take on. Are you familiar with our friend Lemmy?
I don't think so. No,
Okay.
sadly.
Be on,
Good try,
the,
good try.
be on the lookout.
We're
Lemmy,
too insular at Sav, you know. You ask me about anybody at Sav, I got you. Anybody outside of that, good luck.
Yeah. We're good friends with Lemmy.
Cool.
I was gonna say, what have been the best names you've seen drafted so far? Because it was news to me as someone who came in from season 12 that Gaming Monster apparently has been terrorizing CSC.
Oh,
since,
Gaming
like,
Monster.
Gaming
Let me tell you
Monster.
about Gaming Monster,
Oh,
bro. Actually, no, Tachyon's got that for me because he's on
Yeah.
Sav. So
So the funny thing is, I didn't know his name was Gaming Monster for a minute because he was in Challenger and his name was Gaming Matt. So the first time I ever like talked to him, it was all the Chally team was in there and I joined and I was like, nice game, Gaming Matt, nice game. And they all in unison go, that's Gaming Monster. And I was like, oh, my fault, bro, my bad. So yeah, I mean, I know he's good. He's a good shooter, that's for sure. So, look out for the
Yep.
monster. He might be under your bed.
Yeah, the DEs always have some pretty creative names. Premier's been fairly lacking them in my opinion over the course of my time. Definitely some of the Poop Dealer was one of them. That one was iconic. I think that was what tier was that? Was that Prospect or Contender? Somewhere around there. I remember that. I remember cutting him and him sending me a GIF of the Among Us people and like they killed like it was like an Among Us like imposter killing another Among Us character via poop. And I was
it's
like,
like
okay.
that's a mini Jacoby moment right there.
I was like, yeah, that was iconic. I was like the easiest cut of my life. Didn't ask any questions, didn't say anything, just sent that GIF, and I was like, all right.
Cali was pretty stacked with names this season because there was was it
the
PFA?
Zin? No, the Zin arc on ATL
Yes.
last
Oh, yeah.
season. Yeah, Zintaras,
Zintaras.
Frozen. Yeah, Zinverse. That was a good. I support ATL wholeheartedly because of that bit. That was great.
I've been
And
trying to remember. Was Roy from Finance on Sav Tag or was that a PFA?
No. Roy from Finance was on LEC.
Was on
in
LEC?
Chally. Yeah, he was an
God.
LEC draft
Roy
pickup.
from Finance.
Yeah, that's my goat right there. Love that guy. He was their best player. So Aura.
Oh.
Shout out Roy.
I've also, you made a mention of Premier. Premier did not have a lot of good DE names, but a lot of the name changes were pretty good. Like there were some deep cuts in
Yeah.
there, like Willie Dimple.
Willie Dimple.
Willie Dimple, obviously, like is a classic.
I've had the same username for such a long time that I've just enjoyed the bit of no one being able to read it.
Yeah, didn't Kando change his name too to something else?
Kando had a different name. I think he changed back to Kando now.
Okay.
Yeah,
who else? I know
Kandrizzy.
Kandrizzy. Yeah,
Kandrizzy.
Kandrizzy
Yep.
was funny. I know Traditions changed his name. I think he changes it every season. I don't know what it is right now.
Cowboy.
Scrooge was level 8 on Face It.
Yeah, level 8 on Face It was iconic.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah. I think the best one I've seen in the wild has to be Poop Banana in
Poop
Prospect.
Banana, yeah.
Poop Banana in Prospect. I think we actually subbed him in for our Prospect team last season. He's a goat. Love that guy.
Oh, I forgot. Honor Knees, bro.
Honor Knees.
What
Oh,
a
yeah.
champ.
I
Prospect.
played
Was it
season
season-
12 with him. Yeah, I played
Yeah.
season 12 Prospect with him on FRG.
Honor Knees, bro.
Yeah, shout out.
I
Honor Knees.
remember it was season 12, and I was like, I just joined media to cast games, and I was like shocked that name was in there. I was like, I need to cast a game with Honor Knees in it.
We have we got Save the Bees as well.
Yes, that's a good one.
Good old Neil.
Okay. All right. Enough. So name change is locked tonight, right before the first combine, because after combines come out,
Correct.
you can change your name.
Yeah,
So
you're right about that.
He's
Correct.
listening. You got like what, 4 hours, 3?
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So if you want to boost your draft stock, now's a good a time as any to do it. Okay, let's talk boring. Let's talk rules around the draft. Um, rules passed a new one, I think last season, right? That keepers now officially have to be within the first 5 rounds of the draft. So before, even if you had a tier min, a big tier like let's say contender, had like what 9 rounds of the draft, you could keep that player basically in the ninth, and the draft board basically looked like it was just a keeper marathon from like rounds 7 through 9. Now the new rule, obviously, in the first 5 rounds, that same marathon kind of you expect it to shift up towards the fourth and fifth rounds, and I'm just curious for your thoughts. Ilk, let's start with you again. Just thoughts on this change as a whole.
In combination with that, actually, we had the reduction in keepers allowed per tier as well.
Did we?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
3
like,
now? No,
you
it's
can't.
4 still.
No, it's 4, but it used to be you could keep all 5. I've been around for a minute.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, you used to be able to keep a whole roster if you wanted to. Um, you know, it's a mixed bag, right? Because like, I do think that the keeper rule in combination like with the round rules helps facilitate some rotation within rosters, which CSC had become pretty stagnant in during the time, which is why these rules got proposed for GMs and why we have to end up doing it. But round 5, it's not super harmful in the smaller tiers, right? Like it's not a big deal. Half the time you only have 6 or 7 rounds to begin with. It's not a big deal to lose out like on having a 5th round pick, right? But we had the committee voted down on moving it from round 5 to round 6 this past off season, and it just I feel like it hurts lower MMR players where their keeper round is keep like round 8, right? It's like, okay, now you're telling me that like I'm supposed to draft 9 people. I'm supposed to build this best team I can, and like I wanted to keep this one person, because the vibes are good. They're a good support player, whatever the reason, but their MMR maybe doesn't reflect that specifically. And now you want me to keep this tier min person at round 5 instead of round 8, and that becomes a lot harder pill to swallow when like especially if you're in a team that like maybe they're the only keeper, right? You need to draft, like you really need to rebuild, and like now you're gonna have to waste one of those picks where like you're not gonna have another pick for 25 plus players, and that definitely can hurt our job. But like I mean I see the vision, it makes sense within reason, but it definitely is like a tougher thing to have to deal with, like especially within the draft when post draft you're dealing with players. Are they going to actually join? Are they coming into the league with the misunderstanding that like, oh, I want to play with my friend, then you have to trade them away, or they get cut and they don't want to play. So it definitely becomes a little bit more complicated like on our end. Also draft board win, TMs. Hey,
Deborah?
admins.
Yeah, get on that, please. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I was just thinking like because yeah, I didn't even consider like the big tiers kind of getting screwed on it. But for me, like I get where it's coming from, right? Like you were saying, and it's just trying to find a nice way to put it. I
It's too
don't like.
complicated. They
No, I
made
just
it
don't like being told
complicated.
how to do my
They should have
job.
they should have just made it 3 keeper picks. They should have just flat 3 keeper picks. Call it a day, right? Like this whole like minimum 5th keeper round is too many mental gymnastics. Just set it to 3 keepers. Cool. Ship it.
I
Yeah.
think also it might. I know numbers is like a hawk about this kind of shit, but like I worry it encourages some teams to potentially toss combines, depending on where things move around. Because why be an 8th in Chally when you could be a tier breaker and contender for certain situations, especially around like rebuilding teams. Um, I don't know if the team necessarily has an incentive to do that. I worry that the player might. Um, Maybe I've manifested something I shouldn't have, but I don't like like round restrictions, if I had to lose a keeper, like so be it, because I understand, like especially in the past couple of seasons, I think there's been some data put out that like I think at least like a quarter, if not a third, of franchises are keeping 4 players a season. Whether or not you think that number is too high, that's for you to interpret. I think when you talk about a draft league, a lot of people would consider that too high. And I think also it is more fun to meet new people, right? Because at the end of the day, CSC does try to promote itself as a community. Obviously, franchises themselves will build communities as well, but like you can do that without keeping 4 people a season. I guess we're moving on to the next point, but Tack, feel free to jump in here about either the 5th round change or going down to 3. But do you think like 3 is a better equilibrium than 4?
Pack muted live and in person.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tack's muted. Hot point.
Am I good now?
Yeah,
You're good now.
Okay. I think 4 is like a horrible middle ground because in my mind, it's literally the worst option. Okay, I don't want to get anyone on my ass or nothing. Here's my perspective. 5, that's your whole team. You keep your whole team. Okay, if your team was good, you run it back. 3, you keep your core. You keep your core 3 guys. 4, you keep your core 3 guys plus whoever the 4th best player was, right? It doesn't really, it's kind of like a weird, because then you're not keeping the whole team. You're just cutting one guy. One guy just gets cooked, basically, right?
Yeah.
3 is good. You
Yeah.
have like your core 3. You have like your star rifler, your IGL, your opera. Okay, that's your core 3, usually. And then your other 2 players, you can figure it out. 4 is, so you have your IGL, your star rifler, your opera, and then your support player, I guess. Like it doesn't really, in my mind, it doesn't make sense to do 4. It makes sense to either do 3 or do 5. That's just my perspective on it. Nobody has a core 4 unless you're the greatest franchise of all time.
Well,
So
I'd also like to throw out, I feel like my time as GM, it's very rare that I ever have a team that doesn't have at least one player who doesn't plan on returning, isn't getting promoted, demoted, or just has other stuff come up. Like I very rarely even get the opportunity, even if there were a 5-keeper limit, to have 5 people return.
Yeah, exactly.
I think even rarer that you would every single time want to keep all 5, even if they all wanted to return. Unless you
6,
like,
7, and 8 of OS Chally / contender.
I mean, hey, if you guys were running it,
They won it all 3 times.
Back when
They
he was
repeated
just
that shit.
absolutely farming the tier.
Yeah, they
Exactly.
repeated that shit.
That's like the only situation where you'd want to keep all 5 is if you won or you were like 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. If you're like, we will imminently win if we keep these 5, is the only situation where you want to keep 5. You very often want to keep 3. You want to keep your 3 core players, even if they're like not the best stats wise, because they've been playing together. Yeah. A team of like 3 like mid players who have played together for a season or 2 is always going to be better than 3 shooters who haven't played together at all. You know what I mean? And this 4 like limit is weird because it's going to be your core 3 plus one guy who wanted to stay and then a random draft. It just feels like, I don't know. It feels like it doesn't feel like a good middle ground to me.
It definitely,
again,
I remember when the discussions came up when we were switching from Keeper 5 to Keeper 4. And at the time, GMs were adamantly against it, right? Whether or not it was better for the league or not, like we didn't want to lose our 5th keeper because there was teams where like, we did come in, 4th, 3rd, we lost the semis, like we're running it back, we're going to be better. And a lot of times those teams did win. Like they ended up being better because they were playing together. So like from a perspective of like being a GM or being an AGM at that time, like our job was to build the best team possible. And what better could you do than having a core or 4 or 5 coming back that are like already good. They're gonna be better than draft teams like where they had a full rebuild usually.
Yeah.
So like from our perspective, it was like we want to win, we want the trophy, like for our franchise. Like of course we're gonna try to keep as many as we can.
Yeah.
The promotions definitely cause more issues with like that was a big thing as well. It's like okay, I have 4 people, right? And our best contender player is moving up to Chally, right? And like now I would have like the best Chally team I could imagine. Like I have this fantastic shooter who's like now up and coming, and then I have the 4 people who wanted to come back. It's like now I can't do that, right? Like I have to lose somebody, and like am I going to cut loose, one of the better players that I've had, or am I going to break up the 4 people that want to run it back together?
Yeah, I don't know. I think. Oh, Tack, you could go.
I was just gonna say, I think also this is like less of a strategic perspective, more of like a like an empathy thing. I think if you have 4 keeper picks and you're that 5th guy that gets cut while the guys you just played with all stay together, that just
Yeah, that just
that
really
feels
sucks.
horrible.
It's
Awful.
tough.
That's an
I
awful
mean, it happens.
feeling. Yeah.
And I like, it's never happened to me obviously because I'm goated. If I was like if I was that guy, I would feel bad. I would feel a lot less bad if it was 3 core guys and then I was one of 2 to get cut. Because it's just like, okay, those are 3 core guys. It's fucking it's Rodman, Pippen, and Jordan. Of course they're gonna stay together. Like, and Steve Kerr's going to the bench. That makes sense, right? Like having Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman get to stay, and also Steve Kerr gets to stay. That is kind of like, why me then? Am I really worse than Steve Kerr? Like, why am I the one odd man out?
Another thing I'd like to throw out for any potential people who might get cut in a situation like that is a lot of times, and I don't know, this kind of feels like a cop out to some people, but it genuinely can come down to like MMR issues and whatnot, which is just completely outside of the GM's control, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. MMR issues, especially during preseason, is like such a massive thing. It's like, okay, it's like, yes, we love you. We have these 6 fantastic players, but like I can only have 2 of these 3, and then everyone else can stay. Even though like you're one of the better players in the tier, it's like there's no mathematical way I can have that team put together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. People just gotta understand that like 90% of cuts are just like cuts that we absolutely hate making, right? Like, because it's like, sure, it's like regardless of whether or not you're a player that's absolutely lighting the scoreboard up and carrying your team or whatnot, it's like it sucks to have to cut somebody from your franchise that has like been there, it, like is somebody that you know and are friends with, right? Like it doesn't matter what kind of numbers they're putting up. It's like that's never a good feeling, and like no GM wants to be in that position where it's like, yeah, sorry, like you just so happen to be like the 5th best player on a 5-person team, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to get rid of you, right?
Yeah. No, 100%. I agree with that. It's like sometimes it's out of your control and there's nothing you can do, and it's just like, sorry, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Tack kind of hit the nail on the head there. It's like, I think from a GM perspective, it obviously sucks, right? Like, I sort of know it firsthand. I wasn't GMing when it happened, right? But I think it was season 13. FRG Prospect literally had 9 players that, that we were at one point, right? And so we had to cut down to 4 players from 9, which is just like, oh my God, how am I going to go 5 different people and tell them each, like, sorry, you're cut, like, I love you, but you got to go because we have 9 players. So yeah, like no GM is going to want, like, purely from the perspective of their interest, is ever going to want to decrease the keeper limit, right? But I think obviously I don't have the same perspective on it because I haven't been GMing for literally any season at all. But I think it's just I like 3 keepers, if only because I feel like it's good for the general ecosystems of CSC.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think people changing franchises, new DEs getting brought in is always something that's good for the league. And obviously it sucks as a GM, but I think the prioritizing that ecosystem takes precedence above your preferences as GM. Like I think most GMs could probably agree that like having a 3-person keeper limit is probably going to like
is better for the league.
Yeah, it's better for the league at large, exactly. So
yeah, but it's like it's better for CSC, worse for the franchise.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yeah. It's just value trade-offs, but in my case, I just think that the value trade-offs in favor of the league are better. So
yeah, I mean definitely within reason. Like even when like I'm sure that I'm confident like in a serious discussion post or within a staff post, the 3 keeper limit's probably been discussed more than once. And it's like without fail, it's like, yes, it's good for the league, but you're making my job impossible sometimes. Like especially like when you end up like, like we have the 4 keeper and you have 9 players. It's like, all right, yeah, now you have to cut an extra one. Now you only get 3. It's like when I was in, I think it was season 12. It might have been 13. Premiere, like we had our 4 keepers, and that was fine. And then we had an elite player that got moved up that we wanted to keep too, but it was like, hey, sorry, like we're not gonna like you're gonna have to like you're gonna be the one who's getting cut because we're not gonna cut one of the 4 that like were here last season, and we'll try to redraft you. like we'll do our best. Like if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We did like end up redrafting him, and he ended up like winning out the spot because it was like, yeah, like at the end of the day, like you're DE, you're not, franchise member at that point. Like so you're gonna have to play for the spot. But like even then,
Yeah.
it's like I understand that like for the league, Premier a little bit different. It's not that big a deal to only have the one spot to play for. But it's like if you're in Chally or like Contender or Prospect, that has all these teams, all these players. It's like playing for one spot on a franchise, and you have 3 or 4 Ds trying to like play for it. It's brutal.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, sure.
I think also part of the brutality of it is just the current preseason format feels so rushed. It's like if you have a 9-player battle royale for one of your rosters, like how many games will you realistically see all 9 people like against each other?
Yeah.
You have to host like tens nights basically
Yeah,
in order
you
to
do.
like get an
Yeah.
idea of like what's going on.
Sure.
And for some franchises that might not even be possible because people have lives, that kind of stuff. I was just thinking like, dude, that would suck with the current preseason. I know Yeti's proposed like a new one where it's like you would play double headers, I think, right? But you kind of already do right now, so I guess that doesn't make a huge difference outside of the legality of it. But there was a proposal like at the start of, or sorry, at the end of last season, I think Yeti was like proposing just a new combine into preseason schedule. I don't know if we'll have time to discuss it entirely today, but I do know there was a one of the proposals was to like increase the time from draft to first regular season match day, and I think
Yeah.
that would like do a lot of work in
Yeah,
terms
oh,
of
I would, yeah,
definitely.
that would.
Yeah, 100%. I
The
think it
And
would
I
be
don't
a
even-
huge benefit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
having 3 preseason days, like it's nice because like I know within reason, like CSC wants to keep the season somewhat short, right? CSC in the past did have longer seasons even before I was here, like they were longer. And the main issue is attrition. Like there's people that like I can't play this league for 3 months straight, right? Like it's a super like it's a massive time commitment every single week. Like I can't play 20 regular season matches. I do even think adding like maybe like even like one extra game to preseason, making it 4 matches instead of 3, where you because you do have the scrim before, or just take away the scrim and make it like double headers. You have 8 preseason games, and like that gives a lot of time
Mhm.
for larger rosters to get cut down with a little bit more understanding, because it's like it feels bad. It's like, hey, I'm only available this one preseason night, because like like you said, like life happens. It's not a big deal, but it's like, you could play that one preseason night and you shit the bed, right? Like you're done. Like I don't have a lot of time to like figure out if like that's a fluke or you're not going to be any good.
Yeah. I
Like,
think
and that's a tough spot to be in.
yeah. I think Yeti's proposal also changed the cut dates because, like you said, like if you shit the bed that one preseason game, like you're screwed. But if the cut dates to slim rosters down weren't so extreme, like for example, I think you need to be below 7 by the first preseason day.
Yeah, you have to
I
be
would have just
no.
right
It's
now.
not. It's not about. You don't have to be down to 7 on preseason. You have to be 6 by preseason
3.
2, and
Yeah,
then 5 by
it's
preseason 3.
Okay.
yeah,
Like
that's it.
after preseason 3, right after it.
I
So
mean,
you have to
yeah,
have your
that's still only
roster.
if
You
had
have to
9
have your
guys,
final
it gives you
roster.
one game
Yeah.
to cut like 3 people, right?
Yep.
And it's like even I think double headers would be good because as of right now you don't even really get to have like, okay, assuming you had a roster of like 9 or like let's say 8, right? You wouldn't get to play everybody with everybody on more than one map, right? Like
Yep.
for all you know, you could have 2 players who together would be the greatest like overpass connector duo in history,
But they're
and they
never
won't
playing
even
together.
they're not going to get to play together, exactly. And it's even like it can be sort of mitigated if you have like a dedicated IGL who you know is going to be IGLing. It can sort of be mitigated because he can kind of pick and choose like where he thinks people would be good and what would work. But if you are just like going in blind and you just need to pick the best 5 players, you have no idea how they're going to play together on different maps and different situations in only 3 games. So more games is better, I think.
Yeah, 100%. No, I think it's just like it's so hard because it's like as a GM you feel like it just reeks of opportunity cost, right? Because it's like I have a 3 game sample size to evaluate, like, and for many like a 2 game sample size, like a 2 game sample size to evaluate how you are in your entirety as a Counter-Strike player, right? Like everybody's going to tell you that that's just not feasible, right?
Yeah.
Like you cannot conceive of the whole, like, you can't conceptualize a whole Counter-Strike player in 2 games. It's just not possible, right? So you're gonna have to make like cuts that will bite you in the ass later, right? You know,
Yeah.
you cut a guy and then all of a sudden like FRG cut a guy in preseason on our prospect team that ended up being like an all-star for UPS. It's like that's over a 2-game sample size. That's just bound to happen, right? Like sometimes you're just not going to be able to see the best of everybody.
Yeah.
First time.
And it sucks for it. Not even sucks for like the GMs. It sucks for them. You can know how
Yeah,
good of,
yeah.
you can know how good of a player you are, and you load into the preseason game and it's Vertigo, and you're like, well, 5-20, baby, let's go, and it's over for you. You know, like, and that would just it feels bad because you as a GM you could have lost a great player, and as a player you didn't really get a chance to actually show how good you are in constructed 5v5 CS, which is the most important part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Alright.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's a tough spot to be in.
100%.
I just had a random thought. This will be the last thought before we do something very funny. Do you think a longer preseason would cut down on the rate of free agent attrition we saw, particularly last season? Because last season, FA pool was bad in like contender and elite. It was drier than the Sahara.
So for FA pool, it's a mixed bag, right? So like, I do think that there's a misunderstanding. You know, even though I think CSC tries its best with like all the notices and explanations of how the league works, I think there's a lot of times that like FAs get cut and they don't understand that they like can still play, right? Like whenever I had to cut people in preseason, I had like, you know, like you typed a message, but then I also had like a spiel that I like had copied and pasted like for every single cut I've done in the last 7 seasons of like, hey, like your time in CSC isn't done, like you're going to the free agent pool. You know, this is how that works. You know, here's what's the opportunities. Like, you know, here's this long list, right? Of like, here's what can happen, right? And as long as like you're active and you're still trying, like people, like you will still play. Like it's not like you're dead. But I still think like players like get cut and get, you know, disparaged by the fact that they're not signed to a roster and like they're not interested in subbing. They wanted to play, and that just becomes a thing. And then if you have a lot of players do that at the same time, like, you know, the FA pool dies and it becomes extremely difficult.
Yeah, I 100% would agree with that. Like even if your GM tells you like it's fine, you're gonna be an FA, you'll get on a team. Getting cut hurts. It feels bad, you know. And that's not like a consistent experience that happens to a lot of people. Even if you played sports when you were a kid or anything like that, usually people don't get cut, you know. You just don't make the team, and that's a whole other thing, right? But it's like it's hard to. It feels bad, so I don't blame people for like feeling that way and like not wanting to play anymore. But it's just like I think it's just the nature of how the system works, really.
Yeah, I think it's to some extent it's an unsolvable problem, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the FA pool issues are just sort of inherent to what the natural skill curve of CS is like, right? Like every single season, Prospect is going to have 5 billion FAs, right? Because that's just sort of how the skill curve works. And you know, there are obviously things that CSE can do as a league to mitigate that a little bit, but I don't think there's ever like a natural clear-cut solution of, okay, here's exactly how we fix, you know, Challenger, Elite, Premier's FA pool issues, right? Because to a certain extent, you can overcome, you know, certain administrative issues with the league, but you can never overcome the structural issues of the skill curve of Counter-Strike, right? So
6-man rosters?
yeah, sure, absolutely, 100%. Make an SSD about that right now.
Every single season, man.
I agree with that. Honestly,
Okay.
just
6-man
bring in one
roster?
guy. Bring in one guy to play Vertigo for me.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, no, Nevera.
Can I sub
Vitality.
him mid playoffs?
Yeah. Can you imagine switching
That's
people
all.
in and up on the
That's
map?
on my GM bingo card is every playoffs of people not understanding how subs work.
Oh no. Okay, Kono, let's start the funny. So, I baited you all in because you guys are all GMs. You guys should be paying attention to the league, right? And the people that are playing in it. Okay, so how many of you here watch the NBA?
Yeah.
Yeah. How
I
many
watch
of
the
you are
highlights.
aware of Inside the NBA, the greatest talk show?
Oh, are we
Alright.
doing who
Oh,
he
yeah.
play for?
We're doing that's right. Yeah,
Oh,
let's go. All right, Kono, roll the stinger, roll the
No,
stinger. Let's go
no.
to who he
I
play
got
for.
this shit on lock.
I'm done.
All
for,
right,
dude.
here
I don't
we
even
go.
think I can name all the franchises.
It's don't worry, it's not that difficult. Don't worry about it. Okay, so while Kono's preparing that transition, let me explain to you how it's gonna work. I pulled 9 random people off Analytical. I need you to name the player, or not name the player, but name what the hell, Rubai? Huh? I need you.
Get me my pick swaps, buddy. Do it right now. Come
Oh
on. I
my
want I
God.
want those pick swaps.
Transactions haven't opened. Okay.
Pick
All right.
swaps now. Get on it. No excuses.
I got on Analytical. I blurred out the franchise they play for, and I blurred out their tier. Okay. I need you to give me one or both. So if you give me, for example, the tier, that's a point. If you give me the franchise alone, that's a point. Here's where shit gets wonky. Okay. You can give me both for 3 points, but if either of them are wrong, you get 0. So if I show you Ween and you tell me Big Slime Elite, that's 0. But if I show you Ween, you give me Big Slime, that's 1. Or if I show you Ween, you give me Prem, that's 1. Okay? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So is it like an
I
opt-in
feel
system
like
where we're like
I feel like
going
I'm
for
at
the
a
3?
disadvantage here.
Yeah, you can opt in. So on your
Okay.
whiteboards, which you gave, you beautifully drew me stuck on a rubber pole. Just either write down, just like for example FRG, okay, or just write down recruit, for example. Okay.
Okay.
What was I gonna say? Just to give none of you guys an edge and also a little bit of a hint, no one from your 3 franchises are in these 9 players.
I'm cooked, bro.
Okay.
I'm not
bet.
gonna win.
But
It's
that's
over.
cheating.
I got this shit.
It's over.
That's cheating.
I got this on lock. I know everybody.
Okay. All right. Kono, are we ready? I'll give you guys like 15 seconds, okay? To guess.
Bet.
All right. For each player. All right, Kono, whenever you're ready, let's roll the first person.
First person.
First person. Oh, it's AJ. Top 10 in a lot of support metrics. Who did AJ play for at the end of last season?
Oh fuck.
This shit's
6
easy,
seconds.
I don't even think I know all the franchises.
3, 2, 1. All right,
Hold
Kono,
on.
flip it back. Okay. Oh, we're not ready. Okay.
Oh, this is just poorly written.
Okay. All right.
Don't
Wow,
worry.
Rubai, you are cheating. What the fuck?
How am I cheating? I know AJ. I played a scrim with
I
HG
don't-
Elite this season.
I don't know, man. We'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, AJ was on HG Elite last season.
Plus he's on Moose's team and Moose is my boy, so
Interesting
I
person
gotta
to be
represent.
boys with. Interesting person to be boys with.
And I
But
was so focused on beating Moose, I didn't even think about any other player on the team.
did you end up winning though?
No, we didn't. The strat was literally find out where Moose is and then throw flashbangs at him.
Oh, maybe next season. Maybe next. Actually, Moose
Hopefully,
is probably
hopefully.
going. Dude, Moose is gonna go to Prem with Kigu.
Yeah, probably.
That's such a shame. It's such a shame. All right. Okay. That's Rubai off to a good start, but a lot of game left. Let's go on to the next player. Who we got next, Kona? Who we got next?
Beta Xander.
Beta Xander. Oh man, Beta Xander, number 2 in the tier in 1v3s and KAST. All right, 15 seconds starting now.
I've seen this guy before for sure, dude. I've seen this name before.
Lock it in. This shit is easy. I already got it.
Okay. I'm just gonna do a YOLO pick.
5 seconds.
About to do
I just need
the-
to get one right.
2, 1. Okay, let's see.
Okay,
Let's
time's
see.
up. Do you want me to reveal answers first, or
Yeah, let's reveal answers and then the full player profile after. So
Okay.
let's come back. Da 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 da. Yeah, wow, dude, Rubai's on a roll. What the fuck, dude? You guys suck.
Bro, I was in
I don't know this
Premiere.
league,
I don't
bro.
know this low tier.
This is
This
one of my
guy-
tiers. I know this shit.
Dude,
I don't
Ilt,
know
you
anything
don't even
about
have a team in Premiere. You need to wake up and start scouting the
Bro, I'm brand new. He's signed. Who cares?
I'm new too.
Oh my god! But what if he's on an expiring?
Then he'll
Oh.
resign.
You never know. You never know. Oh, Beta Xander, dude, lit up prospect last season.
I'm purely
Rubai,
basing
did
my
you-
answers on how their names sound, by the way.
That might be,
Yeah,
that
I watched
might
it.
be a good plan. Rubai, did you watch any of this guy's gameplay?
Fuck no. Are you kidding me? I just know everybody in this league.
No, you don't. I'm
Like,
gonna get
I
to
didn't,
one of
I
these.
didn't
No, you
lie
don't.
about that when I said that. Like,
No, you
I
Dude,
knew,
Rubai's
I knew.
chronically online. It's okay.
Yeah, I've been outed as being chronically online, so it's all right.
Oh my god. I can't let my fucking written media head win this. Like, you guys need to wake up. You guys need to lock in.
Like, this is
Dude.
my responsibility. All right.
No,
I
you
was
know
I was
everybody.
in charge of OS Premiere. That was my job. We suck.
All right, let's go. Next player. Maybe some. You guys gotta get one of these right. Next
Someone
player.
in my tier, please. Come on.
AJ was in your tier.
Yeah, but he was like a.
No, you're calling him a bum like that, bro. That's not cool.
Oh my god. I think the. All right, next player. Okay, Bugsack. Wow, it looks like a North Korean
Who
Who
general.
the fuck is
medal man.
this?
This guy's got stats though. Come on.
He's got stacks. He's stacked. It's Bugsack. What tier did Bugsack play in? 15 seconds starting now.
If I just guess the same one, it'll be bound to be right at some point.
Aren't there 20 franchises? 5 seconds. Bro, Ilt, you can't take this. Comrade's calling this easy in chat. You're gonna take shit from Comrade? All right, let's
Conrad
reveal those
also
answers.
chronically online. Don't
Let's
at me.
reveal those answers. Bugsack. Who do we think Bugsack played for?
Who he play for?
Who he play for? Okay.
Ignore this part.
Okay.
The
Wait,
back
wait,
button
wait,
doesn't
what is
LEC
your
Tendy. LEC Tendy.
Oh,
That's
LEC
what I said.
Tendi. Okay. Dude. Ilt, you have a lot of answering to do. Kono, reveal that shit.
Bugsack indeed played for Cal's
How
premier
proud.
team.
Cal Prem?
Oh, it was
You know,
How? Okay, I knew it was Prem, but I wasn't sure what team.
I'm just
Oh.
gonna keep Recruit up on the board for the rest of the day.
Oh my god. Just gambling already, aren't you? Already in line with the franchise team.
The house
If you
always
keep-
wins.
If you keep betting on black, eventually, it has to land there.
It can't be red every time.
Yes. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. All right. Well, dude, you guys still have we still have 2 donuts, man. I this is really looking like who he played for.
I'm just like nice with it. I don't know.
All right. Let's see. It's not even halfway through. Let's see. Next
Show me
player.
Ben Simmons. Show me
Ne-
Ben Simmons.
Next player is gonna be
All right.
Cal.
We got Calf.
I got nothing.
Calf's got to keep logging the profile
I
picture
feel like
though. Lock
I
in.
feel like I can get this one.
Okay. All right. 15 seconds starting now.
Do I start guessing teams too? Like, really
Yeah,
double
because you
down?
might as well.
I just need to win the.
Guys, if you cheat off of my board, it's okay. I won't hold it against you. It's
I
alright.
will.
I
I will.
promise. I won't yell at you. Starly might, but I won't. It's alright.
Time's up. Time's up. Let's see those answers. Let's see.
just guessed a franchise.
Oh!
Oh, okay.
Did I get one?
No, because you put wet as well. Wet.
I don't know. I just wanted to guess. I'm just guessing
Why did
things.
you put it away?
I'm just
You're so
guessing things I know.
Yeah, it is.
Go
Wait,
big or
is
go
it this
home.
Walker's? I already forgot who Calf played for. I forgot too, and I made this game.
He's on ABW prospect.
It's ABW prospect, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a point.
Yep. Ilt's on the board. ABW.
I'll get one. I'll get my one. I'm good for one.
Trophy winners in recruit.
They were
I
the
see.
first alphabetically. Shout out ABW.
Yep.
Actually,
The
go
gamble
down-
works.
just go down the list.
The gamble works. I'm telling you. All right, Kono. Let's go next. Let's go next. Maybe Tack can get on the board here. Yeah, I feel bad.
Give me
For...
someone I know.
Next on the
Yeah,
list.
same
is gonna
guy. I
be-
know this one.
No, you're just revealing. Okay, here we go. I am Arch. 15 seconds starting now. Kind of lit up the tier. Bit of an op crunch.
And now we go back to the well. Oh, reliable.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm going for bonus points here. Check this out.
Uh-oh. What is... That will literally not get you bonus points. 5 seconds.
I'm getting bonus points. Fuck
No,
you.
you're not.
No,
it's my game
I-
show.
No, I'm getting 3 additional bonus points
No,
for
you're
this.
not. Says
I
who?
decided me. I decided it.
Kono, flip this shit. Don't listen to Rubai.
All right.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, okay. So Iltem's hit it big here. Nan, it is Arch is on Nan recruit, and I'm not giving you bonus points for saying they were formerly hell.
Yeah, but I'm right though.
That doesn't give you an extra 3
Let the
points.
record show. Let the record show that I was right about that.
Yeah. What do you want? A sticker?
Well, yes, please.
Okay, you
I'll
can ask
take it in the
Spidey
mail.
You can ask
Okay,
Spidey.
bet. All right, awesome.
Yeah, I am Arch.
I got 2 points. I'm basically like, unless Tachyon just gets a double, like I'm good.
Hey,
believe.
hey,
Just show me someone I know and I'm on.
never
it,
say
okay?
never, bro. Never
A
say never.
good elite player and I'll get it.
Well, next up is going to be Luke. So.
You just like throw me meatballs now. Like this is too easy.
Speak for yourself, Rubai. Speak for yourself.
Speak for yourself, dude. I'm cooked. I'm cooked.
10 seconds.
All right, lock it in. 5 seconds, easy.
Oh,
I'm
oh,
doubling
wow,
up.
wow! You're just
Doubling
adjusting the
up.
time. No, 5 seconds from now.
I'm back to backing it.
3, 2. All right, answers.
Just want some meatball. bro.
Yes!
Okay, yes.
Let's go,
Tax on the
baby.
board.
Let's
DRG
go.
Chally. Shout out Solstice. Shout out
I knew
Proto.
I'd seen him one time at some point.
Luke is
Yeah.
indeed DRG challenger.
Yep.
Twitch chat should be helping me more. Fuck these guys.
I think they're helping you plenty. I think you're helping you plenty. All right, let's go. How many more do we have, Kono? 3.
We
or 4?
have 3 left.
3. Okay.
No, I've
3
seen
left.
this guy before.
Next one is going to be Stu.
I've seen this guy before for sure.
We're gonna change up the play here.
Five seconds. All right, let's see him. Wow, you guys suck. I got you.
Before. I was like, ugh.
I got you.
Okay.
I finally got him. Clumsy, what does that mean? No, you didn't. Stu is playing for OS Contender, I believe.
Yeah.
OS
Yes.
contender.
OS contender.
Okay, but if we both think he should be an elite, maybe he should.
Then maybe you should join numbers.
Maybe I was on that
If he was an
franchise.
elite, you should join
And I
numbers.
still
I'm
got
sure
it wrong.
Numbers manuals. I'm sure they need people.
Oh my god.
I told you I knew nothing about anything outside of Premier OS.
Okay. I was gonna say I gave you a prep player in Bugsack, and then you still choked.
I didn't play last season. He was new.
Okay, all right, okay.
All right, that's.
And what
crazy.
happened to the scouting for that tier?
Yeah, I didn't do a good job. We went like 1-9.
Oh,
That's tough.
unlucky. All right, let's go. All right, two more. Second to last. Let's see.
Next on the
Who do we
list.
still have?
Arcane.
Oh, Arcane.
You're giving me. Come on.
All right, hold on, Ruby.
Alright, think about it.
I gotta read Ruby's mind. Give me like an
Yeah.
extra like 5 seconds
He's
here.
gotta be the low tier. He's gotta be the low tier, right?
He's gotta be low tier.
Gotta be low tier.
All right.
You think
hold
I don't
on.
know about this guy? He absolutely carried his team last season.
Hey,
Hey,
unrelated.
he wasn't alone.
What tier are you in, Ruby?
Chally.
Okay, so
Student-
not
student
Chally.
contender.
Not Chally. This is I lied. I'm gonna dip down
Watch,
here.
that might be too low. What is this?
All right, I'm ready.
5 seconds. 5 seconds. 5,
Okay,
4.
wait. I'm changing my answer. Okay.
All right, flip it.
And
Yes! Yes!
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Monty Hall problem. Let's go.
This is advanced copium we're
Oh
seeing
my
out
god,
of
I
these two.
picked Prospect. I said nope. Sally.
Oh, my
Oh.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Now that I realize, Rubai, you were a little sweat lord writing out these tier write-ups for Chally.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh my god. Join written media, bro. Maybe you can get some Riz.
Sab
Shout
number
out
one,
Red
right?
Media.
I do
Seven
have
number
You too can win the weekly drop game show if you join Red Media.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right.
You too
Last
can lose written media.
yeah, last
Last
one
one.
is gonna be
Last-
Crazy Kevin.
Oh, Crazy Kevin
Oh,
with the dope
fuck.
hat.
I do know this
Kind
name.
of a goaded name.
I gotta read
This
on
is a goaded name.
Crazy with 2 Y's.
This is
10 seconds.
Look, he's got 2 Y's as his name, but to me, like a guy like me, it's just 1 Y.
Uh-huh.
to do some justice to the league here. I gotta get this right.
Yeah. All right. Time's up. Let's see those answers. Crazy Kevin, who he play for? Yeah. Okay.
Does that count?
2BS good?
No. It's
No,
flip it.
Crazy
It's
Kevin
my boy, Crazy Kevin.
does in fact
Yeah.
play BS Premier.
Yes, Prem.
I know a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. You got a couple of tiers. You got a couple of the tiers. Okay, I think that's it. That's all we got, right?
Lose?
Yeah.
I mean,
that was
Jesus
the last
Christ,
one.
Rubai owes you guys. I mean, jeez. I think like
Dude,
I was gonna say I forgot to make a score keeping system, but
I have
don't-
it. I have it. It's not.
I got
very
two.
FRG
I
on
don't-
top. Never
It's not
forget
fucking
FRG on top.
Dude, FRG is on top. I mean, that was a known fact.
I'm just saying, I doubled up on Sav right then.
Yeah. So, I think we clearly know who needs to do their homework and who needs to stop being on the internet so much.
That's what the scouts and the AGMs are for, bro. You gotta learn.
Wait,
That was me
Ilk,
last
you're gonna
season.
trust-
I was the scout.
Yeah, I was about to say, Ilch, you're gonna trust B-Web to scout for you? I got bad news for you, bro.
Yeah, no, that's tough.
What?
B-Web?
I got Ryzy, bro. We're good.
Oh, you got Raizu? Oh.
They just let anybody HGM these days. B-Web, are you
Dude,
crazy?
I was like, what pick could piss off GM Hub the most? BS Web, for sure.
No, that was
I feel
Moose.
like Nate has got you beat because Nate got Moose.
Yeah,
so.
Nate true. Speaking of Ilt, what's the line in terms of days before Moose posts another terrible GIF in GM Hub?
Ooh, Vegas lined,
Yeah.
1.5.
1.5? That's it?
I'm taking the under on that. Oh,
Yeah, nah, give me the under.
calm
I
down
got
tonight, bro. It's 0. It's
No,
5
no,
minutes.
no. He's gonna be busy.
Check-
He's gonna be
check
busy.
GM
It's
chat
tomorrow
right now,
night.
bro.
Oh,
He's gonna
is it now?
I'm
Vegas
in
now.
his
Like,
DMs
Moose is
as we speak. Hey, I need you to put a
Ah,
terrible GIF in
that's-
GM Hub.
That goes against the casino rules, man.
Uh-oh.
I am
Alright.
the house.
Okay. Well, that's all I've got for the first episode. I think this was a good one. I think we had a little bit of fun on it. I think we had
We
some
did a
good
lot
discussion
today.
too. Yeah. So I asked Kono, when we sign off, can everyone make the stupidest face possible? Obviously, Rubai and I are a bit limited, but we need to boost
You
YouTube
know.
engagement when we upload it. So if you could do something really dumb for the thumbnail, and then we'll sign
Tacky's
off.
got me beat. Like there's nothing
What do you
I
mean,
can
Tacky? What does that mean about
I
Tacky?
got, I got Jim Carrey face. That's what it means.
Uh-oh. But I'll just let God determine whenever we want to cut, because I don't
Okay, I'm
produce
gonna do
the show.
like a. I'm gonna
Yo,
do
shout
like.
I'm not-
out Kevin Counter-Strike.
I've been around long enough. I'm not getting gift here.
What do you mean?
I need like the Mr. Beast reacts type of
There's no,
face.
there's
Yeah,
no,
like
there's
this.
Give me that.
Like the-
Oh yeah, can
No-
you do
no
like
sticker.
point
Yeah,
at the?
let me like.
Yeah, can you
I'm-
point at
I'm
like
not-
Ilts or something? Yeah, there you